If you love playing MTGO, please make sure you check out my sponsors in the description below. Mana Traders, I've got a sweet discount code. Just head there and you can start playing whatever deck you want. Hello everyone, welcome to another Deck Tech on Total MTG. My name is Matt and welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. And what have I got for you today? Well, it's a brew that will be obviously very close to my heart. For those of you who don't know, I am a blue mage. I love blue, and I tend to like artifacts as well. Recently, as I've progressed through my Magic career, I mean, I do play Memnarch in Commander, so, you know, blue artifacts. It's TEZZERET Artifact Control, all based around, I loved it when this card was spawned, which is TEZZERET Artifice Master. So this Planeswalker comes in with 5 loyalty, it costs 3 a double blue. The +1 on TEZZERET is to make a 1/1 Thopter, obviously this has flying. The 0 is draw a card. If you control 3 or more artifacts, you get to draw 2 cards. And the -9 is you get the emblem at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a permanent card and put it onto the battlefield. Now that sounds pretty cool to me. So without further ado, let's take a look at the deck. So we're going to start off with the creatures. We ran 7 in total in the main board, starting off with a couple of Hope of Girapur. Now, this is a 1/1 flyer, but it's an artifact which obviously goes on theme with the deck and has the ability of sacrificing it until your next turn. Target player is dealt damage by Hope. This turn can't cast non-creature spells. It's a pretty sweet card. He has a pretty strong ability there where you can stop your opponents casting non-creature spells. You know, this could be a Planeswalker coming down or something to kill one of your Planeswalkers possibly. It's a very sweet card. It did start off as 3 in the deck. It's gradually gone to 2, but still very, very sweet. New from M19 is our next creature. It's Scion Master Thopterist. You can see the theme of this deck. It's whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colourless Thopter. Is this a Thopter deck? Well, it could be seen as a Thopter deck, I suppose, but it is blue and colourless. This also has an ability of pay 2, 1 and a blue, sacrifice 2 artifacts and draw a card. Drawing cards is what blue does really well. Hopefully we will maybe be able to make our fair share of Thopters with the creatures that we have coming down. So this is very good. We also obviously have other ways of making other little artifact creatures and a certain little Planeswalker that you'll see coming up very soon. But Scion Master Thopterist is a very good card and obviously fits very well with this deck. And the stats of it obviously being a 1/4 is great to block early game as well. We also run a 1 of Padim Console of Innovation. This has good stats as well. It's another 1/4. We've got, great toughness on these creatures for the early boards. This does cost 4 though. Artifacts you control have hexproof, so we can protect all our other artifacts, whether they be artifact Thopters, creatures, just regular non-creature artifacts. This will give them hexproof. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest coveted mana cost or tied, you get to draw a card. Like I said, we've got ways of drawing cards even without casting spells. Putting these kind of creatures on there, hopefully we won't come across a heavy artifact deck. Pretty unlikely in testing, I haven't come across anything like that and I've been the one drawing the cards. Our last creature is a 2 of. It's an absolute great construct artifact creature. It's Torrential Gearhulk. Now, I played this, obviously been testing, so I have to let you know, this was in the sideboard originally, but it was obviously, I know how good Torrential Gearhulk is, but I wanted to, have something to bring, something good to bring into the deck. But it just kept being so good, and I kept -9 in and getting the TEZZERET and bringing Torrential Gearhulk in and, maybe casting a Glimmer or something like that. It was just really good. So it's gone straight into the main board now. And I think there is an extra one in the sideboard that you'll see later on as well. Torrential Gearhulk, strong, great stats, 5/6. Just an all-around great creature. So we're going to go to the spells now of this deck. We have 30 spells in total. It's a blue deck. What else do you expect? We start off with 3 opt, where you can scry 1 and draw a card for 1 single blue mana. Very nice card. And then we've got a couple of Anticipate. I used to play this all the time when it was back in Standard, and it's coming in, and I've got it in there as a 2 of. You get to look at the top 3, put 1 in your hand. It's a really, really sweet card for siphoning through your deck. We run 1 of Search for Azcanta. Was 2, back down to 1. It does its job. It's a very, very sweet, strong card. Like I say, siphons through your deck like we can do with a lot of other cards, but I'm putting it in there as a 1 of. It's pretty sweet. Onto some counter magic now. We have a couple of disallow, counter target spell or activated ability, stop your opponents from embleming or, ultimating their planeswalkers and just other things as well. Disallow is a very, very good card and does see a bit of play in Modern as well. And then we have a 3 of Supreme Will, which has, a couple of abilities where we can counter target spell unless they pay 3, or we get to look at the top 4 cards of our library and put one into our hand and hopefully maybe find something that we really need. Supreme Will is in there as a 3 of. Some extra card draw we have in Glimmer of Genius. We have a 2 of them. Still, probably one of the best card drawing cards, even if you don't play energy. The scry 2 and then draw 2 cards is really, really strong for 4 mana in Standard. And that's obviously an automatic inclusion. So let's get to our artifacts now. We've got a couple of Sorcerer's Spyglass in the main board. Even in the main board, it's been really, really good. Sometimes you can look at your opponent's hand and sort of know what they're playing. So even if you don't see a card, you can sort of preempt what they might have. That's not always the best way to go, but if you know your meta and you know what decks you're playing against, this is still be very good. And of course, there's always a chance that, obviously, you will see what's something really good in their hand and then name it with Sorcerer's Spyglass. And we have that in as a 2 of, and I've not been disappointed with it in the main. We then have 3 Thaumatic Compass. Search your library for a basic land card, really nice, cost 3 to do that and you tap it. And then when you control 7 or more lands, it becomes something that really helps blue because it taps into Spires of Urazga and then you can untap target attacking creature an opponent controls and remove it from combat. This has saved me numerous times, absolutely numerous times, and I really like it and it's in there as a 3 of. The next one we have is Treasure Map. Put it in there as a 3 of as well. Pay 2 for it, you get to scry 1. When you pay 1, tap scry, put a landmark on it, and when it has 3 or more landmarks, you get to flip it and start making some treasures. Making those, that's extra card draw, sacrificing the treasures, and can build up artifacts when we do have a certain little Planeswalker later. The last one we have is a 3 of new from M19. It's a reprint, it's Magistrate's Scepter. Cost 3. You pay 4, you put a counter on it, charge counter, and then when you've got, you have to remove 3 to take an extra turn. This is really strong. It's in there as a 3 of. Now, we're not a dedicated turns deck. We could add in, obviously, there's a couple of other cards that I think take extra turns in Standard. We're not, a total extra turn deck. But when we've, sort of flooded the board, which has happened when we've had, lots of Thopters or lots of something else on the battlefield, this has been really good just to get that extra attack in. Sometimes your artifacts will be so big that obviously they will have to block. And then, the next turn when you're taking each turn, you just attack and win. I've been quite impressed with the Scepter and it's staying in there as a 3 of. So, the Planeswalkers, we have 2 different Planeswalkers. You've heard me talk a lot about artifacts and what fits into this deck. It's Karn. Karn Scion of Urza. It's there as a 3 of. You can reveal the top cards, 2 cards of your library, then your opponent puts 1 of them in your hand. The -1 is the one of obviously the ones that go away from you. They have silver counters on, and then potentially you can bring one of those cards back that they didn't want to give you. And the -2 is creating a 0/0 colourless construct that gets +1/1 for each artifact. This is what I said. We've got artifacts obviously in this deck. We've got artifact creatures. We're going to be making Thopters. This is really strong. And I've had these up as big as 15, 15, 16, 16s and bigger already playing this deck. And I've only, I've played with it, probably 10, 12 times. And I've already been impressed with how big they are. Huge these colourless constructs can be. And yes, they can be fatal pushed away, but you can just potentially keep making them, protecting Karn, building it up, getting a card, then doing the -2 again. It's really, really strong. And of course, you can make Thopter artifact creatures with TEZZERET Artifice Master. The +1 where we make a Thopter artifact creature token with flying will pump up your Karn tokens as well. It's really strong. The 0, draw a card if you got more than 3 artifacts. So is it 3 or more artifacts? You get to draw 2 cards. And obviously the -9. I've had this on the field and gone and searched and put Karn on the field or gone and put the Torrential Gearhulk. It's really, really good. And even if you just have to get something like a Treasure Map or a Thaumatic Compass, potentially it will pump up your other artifacts as well. Do the Treasure Map, flip it, get 3 more. It's so, so sweet. The combination of these blue spells and the artifacts in this deck have been working really, really well. And I'm really enjoying the deck. So we're going to get to the land base now. So 23 lands in total. We have an Arch of Urazga in there because we pretty much do get City's Blessing and we get to draw cards of it.
New from M19, we're putting in a detection tower. Anything with hexproof, this will be, this will help us out. I'm putting it in a lot of my decks at the moment. And then we've got a couple of Field of Ruin. This just destroys, if people are playing like Search for Scans, it's a very popular card, we can destroy that. Or any land that flips, or just anything that's really, really awkward. Maybe we want to kill our opponent's arch or something like that. We then have a one of Inventor's Fair, which has the ability to gain us life. Very, very important in this meta for sure. A one of Memorial of Genius. Pay 5, tap, draw 2 cards, sacrifice it. It's a nice utility land and it's in there. And then we have a 4 of Zalfirin Void. Love this card. That scry is absolutely brilliant. It doesn't even come in taps, this land. Absolutely sweet and probably my favourite land in the deck. And then we have 13 islands. And if you want, please use, just for this deck, I've been using the 7th edition white bordered island. I'm sure a lot of you are cringing now, but I absolutely love this island. It's just so cool and it's really on theme with the deck. So now we are going to get to the sideboard. 15 cards obviously in there. And we start off with a single of Torrential Gearhulk, just the extra one in there in case we want to bring it in. I didn't want 3 in the main, but I don't mind having 1 in the sideboard to come and help out if we need to. We then have 2 Sentinel Totems to help with the graveyard decks. Comes in, you get to scry, and then exile Sentinel Totem and exile cards from all graveyards. Couple of unsummons really help me out in a lot of games. In there is a 2 of return target creature to its owner's hands. Really good when there's something like indestructible like Hazarat or something like that. Or a Glorybringer that might come down and try and do something. It's just really, really sweet. Counter spells in Essence Scatter where you can counter target creature spells. We've got a couple of them. And a single Jace's Defeat as well. A 4 of Negate is in there. Really like the 4 of in there. Many games I've brought this all 4 in and it's been really, really good. So I would definitely recommend you keeping the full 4 of Negate in your sideboard. We also have a 1 of Commit to Memory. And the last 2 cards in the sideboard are 2 Metallurgic Summonings. It gives us an alternate win con in the sideboard. Obviously, I had more, before, like I said, I had more Torrential Gearhulks in there, where they would come in and change the game. But now, Metallurgic Summonings can come in there, on theme, makes artifacts, colourless artifacts, can pump up with Karns, and it just does lots of shenanigans for us. And it's just an all-in-all great separate win con. So, guys, that is my my new blue deck in Standard. It's TEZZERET Artifact Control. I hope you love it. And even if you're not a blue fan, please, you might be an Artifact fan. Just play this deck anyway. It's really, really cool. Anyway, I really do hope you like the brew. If you put it together, let me know how it goes on for you. It's been really, really strong for me. If we get this over maybe 30 likes, if you want to see some gameplay, just chuck it in the comments and let me know. Any deck techs that I do, if you want to see lots of gameplay, if I see a fair amount of comments asking for it, I will record some for you. Anyway, guys, don't forget, if you're new to us, smash that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you on the next video.